Welcome to my channel, and once again we are going to continue from where we left off earlier. So in the previous videos, as you probably, if you have seen it, we created or rather we built images and then created Docker containers off of those images and ran these websites on the Docker container. So what we are going to do now is to do the same thing we did earlier, but we are going to use a different technique now, which is we are going to use a Docker file. So if you don't know what a Docker file is, or if you want to know more about it, you can read it off here. And so what you are going to do is to create a Docker file and then write our instructions there, and then build the image and run our Docker container off of that image and then run our website from it. So as you probably, if you saw the earlier videos, you will see that we already had the first website we hosted running on port 8080. We hosted a different one in a different way, which is running on port 8085. So we are going to build this one now with the Docker file using a different port number. So to start that, let's first of all go to our where we've got all the files that our website needs. So as you can see here, our website files and folders are all housed in this website folder. So in this website folder, we are going to create a file. We call it Docker file. This file has no extension. So in this Docker file, we are going to use our nginx web server. Let's use nginx Alpine here. And we are going to copy in uppercase. We are going to copy everything, which this dot denotes, to the folder, this very folder, which is in the nginx web server. Share nginx HTML. So if you saw the previous tutorial, as I explained, this is the folder. This folder is found inside the nginx web server, and this is where websites are hosted. So we are going to copy everything, which means all these files that we've got here, and then upload them inside of this folder, which you can find in the nginx web server. And we are going to expose it on port 80, which is the port that the nginx server runs on. So because this is a very little project that hasn't got a lot, so we don't have a lot. This is all that our Docker file requires. I'm trying to type this in uppercase. So that's all we need. Let's save it and then go to the terminal. On the terminal, we are going to build our image. And to do that is very simple. Just we write docker build, and let's call it website. Our image, we call it website. And in this time, we are going to give it a version number. So let's say it's version 1. Or you could call it whatever version you want. You know what? Because this is like the third image we are building. Let me just go on and call it version 3. And then it is necessary to have dot there, which means that because, as you know, all the files that we are running live in this very folder website that I showed you earlier, right? So let's build our image. So building the layers, that's all. It's completed. So now let us view the images we've got. We go Docker images. So here are the images we've got. So this was the first one that we built earlier, and then this was the one we just built now. We called it website, and it has the tag is version 3. So what we are now going to do is to go on and build our, or rather run our container off of this website image. To do that, we do docker run. We are going to give our container a name. We could call it, let's just go on and call it my site. We run it on detach mode. Now, like I said earlier, we already use port 8080 and 8085. We could just go on and use port 8081 here. Remember, this port 8081 is the port we are going to use to access our website on the browser, on the host machine. And we are going to also have port 80, which is the default port number of the NGINX. Do you remember the name of our image? If you remember, we called it website, and we gave it version 3. So we are running our container, which we are going to call my site, and then we run it on a detach mode. Like I said, this is like the image name which we are running this container off of. So let's just go on and run it. So our container has been created. That's the container ID. What we need to do now, let us check all the containers we've got now. Docker ps a. Here are the containers. So these were the two that we already created earlier, and this was the one we just created now. As if you remember, we called it my site. So as I showed you initially, we already had one running on 8080 port and 8085, and the one we created now is running on port 8081. So let us go on and test our website. So what we are going to do, we are going to test all of them, the 80, 80, 80, 85, and 80, 81. We're back on the browser, and just like what I told you earlier, we already have this the website we hosted earlier running on port 8080. We had the other one running on port 8085. So now let's test the one we run on container with the port 8080. So we can call it localhost, and then localhost 8081. There you go. So this one is also running. So with all these websites that we hosted them using 3 different techniques. So if you haven't seen the other ones, you could check the description of this video, and you are going to see them and see how they were created. So now we've been able to create Docker file, our Docker containers 3 different ways, and run this website, or rather hosted this website on each of them. So that's the end of this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and I would like to know what you think. Any comment, any feedback, just write it in the comment field, and I will be ready to and happy to read it. Thank you, and bye.